Welcome to another episode of Dees Talk. My guest today is Samantha Origin Swaby. She's an interior architect and landscaper, and I've worked with her on many projects, including this very studio, which has just been completed and involved a lot of hard work from Sam. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be good to start off talking about how you got into interior architecture and a bit of your background.
Okay. Well, I was always an artist, first and foremost. So growing up, I never went through the stick drawing phase. I just could draw naturally. That was my thing. Straight into
realistic.
Yeah, exactly. That was almost my thing. And I don't know, just everything artistic-wise came naturally to me. Sculpting, I loved woodwork, I loved metalwork. Those were my favourite things in school. I didn't like school very much, but I liked everything to do with music, art. That was my thing. If I could do that all day, then I would have loved school. I actually did like history though. So after leaving school, I did my GCSEs. I left school because I thought, I'm not doing that anymore, and I went straight into apprenticeship. So I did apprenticeships making metal furniture in a proper forge, like Flashdance, with the whole helmet and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then woodworking, and back then there wasn't such thing as 3D modelling. So I was like drafting and designing on an actual drawing board and everything. I was making reproduction furniture, design.
So there was no CAD.
No.
Right, so you were what, physically drawing?
Physically drawing, yeah.
Wow.
That's what you had to do. You had to draft on a proper drafting board. So I'm really grateful for that introduction, that foundation, because I've always known how to actually make things, which I always feel fundamentally helps you in your design process. Because
so you're making it with your hands,
yeah,
literally artisanal.
Yeah, exactly.
Style, yeah.
Artisanal. I sculpted everything. So when you know how to make something, your design process is so much easier.
Right.
Then, after I did that, I decided in my 30s, then I was going to go into do a degree in product design and development. So I did a course in shoemaking, which is very much like furniture, at Caldwell's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of overlap in the process.
Absolutely. Furniture.
Materials.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very precise, and I loved that. So I did a degree in product design and development, and I did a speciality in the shoe industry, which, funnily enough, when you, as an older student and you're observing younger students, you just think to yourself, you're observing their design. I found that quite a strange experience. I enjoyed it, but also I found it frustrating, because I was in the process that people design differently, and I always find that with these courses they put you on a one track
cookie cutter
thing of how you're supposed to create. Not everybody creates the same.
And you'd already been in a real world industry, creating in probably a variety of different ways.
In so many different ways.
And then they come and say, oh, you have to do it this way. And then all the students are like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't know, because they haven't been in the real world.
No.
Right.
And some people might find inspiration from making loads of sketchbooks. I don't. I have visions of fully created forms.
Right.
Which
so
come to me
from making sketchbooks. So that's how a lot of people, they sort of evolve their idea.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to submit these sketchbooks at the end to show your whole process of how you came to the end product.
And you just went straight to the final.
Right. Because as far as I'm concerned, if the vision hasn't been fully formed in my head already, then it wasn't worth making.
Right.
It's the same with my paintings. I maybe paint a painting once every 10 years.
Right.
Because I'll get a vision of a painting and I have to paint it. And if it takes me more than 2 days to paint, then I know it's not happening. That's how my design process works. I know it's like I get downloads.
Right, so you get the whole final product in your head. Are you tinkering with it in your head, like move that over there and do that?
Yes.
But that's before you've even sketched anything out.
Before I've even sketched.
So you get it complete.
Yeah, I have 3D render in my brain.
Right.
So I'm literally moving things around. I'm not putting anything on paper. I'm literally moving everything in my brain in whatever space I've got to create this thing. So I can see how it works. I'm trying different things
You're
out.
twisting it around.
Exactly.
I swear I'm getting memories of Nikola Tesla doing that same thing apparently. He would like create or do all the engineering in his head.
Yes, absolutely. Before.
Until it was ready. And then he would just
and
like...
then execute. That's it.
Yeah, rather than like, oh, here's a rough idea.
No, can't bother with that.
Evolve it one step.
No.
Yeah.
And you'll find those are the best ideas.
The ones that come complete.
Come complete.
And then it's just how do we get there?
Yeah, exactly. If I'm struggling, then I'm letting it go.
Right.
And it's like if I have to struggle with a thought form or whatever, I can't say I've ever had that where I've struggled. Once I get a concept, once somebody's given me the concept, I want X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Instantly, something will come to me.
Right, as they're describing
it,
it's giving you some references and stuff.
It's evolving in my brain and it's being formed, and then my what can I say? My bowl, which I'm mixing everything in, is music. Right. So when I'm listening, I drive a lot. I drive everywhere. Sure. That is my space. That is my little nightclub because everything in my life has always had this. It's been encapsulated in music. Because that's another point.
To be a music.
I was a professional musician for. Around 10 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, whole of my after I left doing the apprenticeships with all different furniture companies and design companies, interior design companies, and then I was making music just as a hobby.
Yeah.
And then it was my mother who made me audition for this girl band.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they took me on board, and there was 5 of us, and then there was another audition.
What year was this roughly?
This must have been.
90s.
Yeah, must have been 1997, 98.
So you were like teenager or something?
I was.
Well, no, a bit older.
I was a bit older.
Don't want to give away your age.
I know. I mean, I'm older than I look. Yeah, because it must have been around 98. So I was in my early 20s, and then we were in this girl group. And then I went for another audition with the girl group, but then they only wanted me.
Oh, why? Because your voice and dancing.
Because I was the greatest. Whatever I had, that's what they wanted.
Right.
So I was like, okay, fine. At the end of the day, I'm not going to.
Did the other girls get upset? Like, hey,
yeah, I guess. Well, no, I don't. It is what it is. We weren't together for long.
Sure.
So then I started working with this other producer, and then. That producer put 3 of us together. We got signed to BMG as singer-songwriters, and then we were working with Dominic Miller, Sting's guitarist, and then we went on tour with Sting.
Oh, wow.
In 1999. So that was that.
So where'd you go on tour?
Some Europe and the whole of America.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that was like months and months then.
Yeah.
Wow. And how was that working with Sting?
He's so nice. He's born on the 2nd of October. I'm the 3rd of October. So obviously, it was very welcoming.
Libras, is that?
Libras,
right,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, Libras.
That is.
So, and it's so weird. My nephew is a Libra, my eldest nephew, but I rarely meet Libra men.
Right.
But they've always been significant parts.
Right.
Yeah.
When you've met. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So how was that? So like you were like a backing singer?
I was backing
and dancer?
vocalist, yeah.
Right.
I didn't dance, no.
No, just a little.
Yeah, we just stood there doing a bit of arm movement and and doing backing vocals. It was a great experience. I appreciate it more now.
Right, looking back.
Looking back then, I can say I was a manifester.
Right.
So it was like I was a manifester, I was happy, and things I could just see, well, this is what's going to happen, this is how my life's going to be, and it happened.
Right, so you knew before and then it just played out?
Just played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out until my heart got broken, then my manifestation kind of went a bit.
But hey, this wasn't part of the plan.
This wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah.
But I am a not a believer, I'm a knower in the fact that you are the creator of your own reality, and I can just see that in my life, how things have turned out.
So what did you create or know early on that was even unlikely that then manifested?
To be honest, there isn't anything that I ever thought was unlikely, because I don't think anything is impossible.
Right.
It's just a matter of me lining up with it.
Sure.
Me getting out of my own way.
So what's on the menu now?
Oh my goodness.
Which you know is going to happen?
Well, I've put so many thought forms out into the universe. And another thing I've learnt through my years is don't make plans.
Right.
Because, you know, ultimately you can make a plan and you can try and structure that plan thinking that's how it's got to play out. And ultimately you get disappointed. And that disappointment, when things don't work out how you think they're supposed to work out, holds you in a holding pattern like a Groundhog Day.
Okay.
And you end up being in that swell of the same thing happening over and over again until you release that.
Is that because if you have too much expectation about how it should play out?
Yeah, exactly.
So what should you focus on then?
You should focus on the excitement of the universe knows what you want,
Right.
and it's going to express it and show it to you and deliver it to you in a bigger way than you could ever imagine.
Right, and you just enjoy the journey.
You're excited.
Yeah, right.
Then that's how I am now. I'm excited. I know what I want. The universe knows what I want.
Right.
And I have all these concepts in my brain, but I'm allowing the universe to deliver it to me how
it sees
best, because I know it's going to be better than I could ever
So
imagine.
you're just holding the final, like the general idea in your head, and like I want something like this, and then then sort of get out the way of the universe, and then things
as I
start
say,
to
let
happen.
that saying I never, you know, because I always had an issue with the word God in general.
Right.
But now I understand what let go and let God means.
Let God.
Let go and let God. Yeah.
Right.
So you let the universe just take you down the river. Don't fight it. Don't swim against the current. Go with it.
And suddenly you'll just bump into someone that's
Exactly.
like, you're looking to do that as well?
Exactly.
Or like,
Yeah, well,
it would just happen.
Exactly.
Randomly.
Random chance meetings. And only when you just stay in that flow state of just excitement.
Sure.
And I listen to a lot of Neville Goddard.
Right.
And he always says, live from the end.
Live from the end.
Live from the end.
As if it's already happened.
As if it's already happened. And that's just a feeling. So if you're in constant state of anticipation of the excitement of what's about to be revealed for you, that's the feeling you will have when you've attained what you desire. And there you are, you're there.
It's
So
almost like you expect it to happen,
Yeah.
and you're just already feeling as if it's happened. kind of,
exactly, yeah. So at this point in my life, I'm excited for what's my next creation.
What's your next creation?
What's going to be presented for me to create? Because ultimately, I didn't have children, but I create in other ways.
Sure.
I've manifested that womb energy to create outwards for beauty and
nurturing mother energy
into my creations.
into your projects. Yeah, well, look at this project which you built here. This is beautiful.
It's it makes me proud. Yes, there's a lot of stress involved. This little room.
I know.
So many moving parts.
Yeah.
So and problem solving.
Yeah. Well, just to give a bit of background about this room, it started off as was supposed to be just a cinema room. So there's a big screen and it's supposed to be just a couch. Then I thought that's a bit of a waste, so let's try to make more of the room. So we called it the everything room. And, and then we wanted to make it to be able to work, to do editing, and to do podcasts. So we raised this platform high and put all the storage and everything underneath. And there's some images. Do you have that image? Do you have let me see if Sam actually sent images Sam created to show what it was going to look like. And as you can see, it's pretty similar to what it came out to.
Yeah, to have the whole multi-purpose, multi-function room, cinema room, multimedia, and all the joinery, how it's functional for different storage and different configurations, because it's a small room, but we can do so much with it.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah.
To be able to pull out and not lose the storage, because it's so important to have storage in a house. That's
Yeah.
like, I think people often forget that. And
Oh,
then
it's
they
so important.
start having stuff and
Absolutely.
to have everything have a home. You know, so everything goes somewhere. It's not just left out. And
Absolutely.
messy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good and well having all this beauty and all this aesthetic, but when you've got a whole load of junk everywhere because you haven't considered the storage, then it can be a complete disaster, which I have had before. Not on my watch, though, because I was brought into a project after the fact.
Right.
where the architect hadn't considered these things.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and then when they live there, then they've got nowhere to like
Yeah.
put anything.
Exactly. Even to the
good.
point where one client said, I want to buy a new house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what? He was so disappointed
Because there
that
was
nowhere
no,
to put anything.
there was
Right.
nowhere to put anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to explain a bit about the process of how the joinery was done? How did you like?
Well, I considered everything that you wanted, you know, and there was a lot of void space, and it's quite a deep platform.
Yeah.
So we want to utilise all of that space inside this
Under space.
under space. So these roll-out units with all these different shelves, so you can just roll each one out. You've got allocated shelving for all your equipment, and so it's easily accessible.
And there's little steps
and
go
little
up there.
step-
And even the steps have drawers.
Even the steps have drawers, so you can step up to the platform, but every bit of that space is utilised as well. For storage, for files, for whatever. And the other's one there which has when you pull it out, it has a specific space for your printer, which you can also pull that ledge in and out. And then you have the one under the cinema screen, which you can put all your whatever equipment you have there. Yeah, every bit of space which is covered can be used.
And it was all made
accessed.
in good old Britain.
It was all made in good old Britain.
Yeah.
I normally make everything in Italy,
Yeah.
but I found this joinery company called Painted Joinery.
Shout out to
Shout out to Painted Joinery. They have turned out to be a fantastic company, which I'm working with now on different projects.
Where are they based again?
They're based in Croydon.
In Croydon,
Yeah. I found them really easy to work with. They are, they
Female run as well?
female run.
Female owner run?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's just developed into a really good relationship. So for the things that I can't have longer lead times in terms of the joinery I make in Italy, I can.
Because that adds how many weeks normally? Because just the delivery from Italy
Exactly,
is like,
a couple of weeks. I mean, you know, but in terms.
And there's more customs and all that as well to go through now because we're not in the EU anymore.
Exactly. But, you know, even with all that, price point in Italy is still better.
Really, than the UK?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
For sure, 100%, yeah. So regardless of all that, the price point is still better.
So how did you get into the Italian market? Because when we met, you were very much in contact with all the factories in Italy, and you knew, how did that all start?
Funnily enough, every career that I've been in terms of, as well, it's only been 2 careers, music and design, always brought me to Italy.
Really?
Yeah, because even when I was with Sting, we would rehearse in his house in Tuscany. That would be the base.
Ah, okay. So that's when you started going to Tuscany, because I know you love Tuscany.
I adore Italy.
Yeah.
Full stop. Anybody who knows me in terms of all my Italian, I am the ambassador for Italy. I think in a past life, no, I don't think. I know in a past life, I was somebody in the Renaissance.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you see it, are you like?
I feel it's like my whole body just relaxed as soon as I land. I don't actually fly there much anymore. I drive there.
Why is that?
Because I love to drive, and the whole process is so much less stressful. You can bring whatever you like in the boot of the car.
How long does it take? To, from London to?
Yeah, from London. Well, I always count from when I get to Calais.
Calais, okay.
So you drive on.
A couple of hours from London, is it? Or?
When it takes about. I normally leave at about 3 a.m. Get the 5 a.m. train.
Okay.
Half an hour under the Euro tunnel. You get to Calais, then 5 hours to Dijon.
Drive.
Okay,
so you rent a car in Dijon?
No, I drive my own car.
Oh, you drive your own car on the train?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Drive the car on the train. Calais to Dijon, 5 hours. Stop in Dijon, have a nice meal, and then stay the night. Set off again in the morning, and it's another 5 hours to, depending where I'm staying. Mm-hmm. If I'm going for work, I tend to stay in Lake Como because I need to be in that area, because all you've got Cantu, everything, all of the northern areas where they make all the high-end furniture. And if I need to go into Milan, it's only 40 minutes from Lake Como to Milan. But if I'm going to Tuscany, then I'll stay in Dijon, and it's more like 7 hours to Tuscany, because I stay in the north of Tuscany. I don't stay in the southern area of Tuscany. I prefer the more rugged side of Tuscany.
So that's the less developed.
The less developed, more undiscovered. I find the scenery and the whole thing way more dramatic. I guess because of my background, having a Jamaican father and a Dominican mother, I love dramatic mountains and lush greenery.
Right, is that how it is in Jamaica? Dominican is very much.
Yeah, I mean, Dominica is basically a big volcano.
Right.
It's like, it's just unbelievable. And also in Jamaica, you have many different types of terrain, so lots of mountainous areas. When my father first went to Tuscany, how many years ago now, I can't remember, but he could not believe that you could fly. Because previously, he'd always go to the Caribbean or America, because that's where our family is. So first time he came, he flew into Pisa, 2 hours flight, 1 hour and 50 minutes. He landed absolutely boiling hot. We started driving to the north of Tuscany. He couldn't believe it. He was like, this is just like Jamaica. How on earth can you fly? I haven't flown 8 to 11 hours.
To just come to a place that looks the same.
Yeah, it's the same. And from then, he hasn't been to Jamaica in years, because we just go to Tuscany every year.
Right.
Or Lake Como, because he loves fishing, he loves the boats.
It's funny that when you have places that look kind of similar, I always feel like Bangkok and Sao Paulo look kind of similar, like these sort of big cities with lots of different types of buildings, quite loose planning permission, so there's not much consistency like you get in Europe or whatever. It's just like buildings. You could just cut and paste 2 scenes and you wouldn't know which city you're in. It's funny with the nature side as well.
The nature side.
To have that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, and you know, the thing is, there's loads of bamboo in Tuscany, and there's loads of bamboo in the Caribbean.
Right.
So you really look at the train, you think, okay, maybe, and there's loads of palm trees. Yeah.
And there's loads of vine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the only thing it doesn't have is like in, I guess, I just touched my mic, like mangroves.
Mangroves, which is in Jamaica.
Well, in Jamaica and in Dominica, but there's lots of mangroves in Dominica. It's a proper rainforest, you know.
Right.
And loads of rivers. The rivers in the north of Tuscany are just stunning. Right. Okay, in Jamaica and Dominica, they're maybe not as freezing cold because it's not coming from the Apuan Alps, you know, but stunningly beautiful, blue, crystal clear. To look at, not to joke. Well, unless you want a cold plunge. No, yeah, people do, you know.
Yeah.
I personally can't take it. But my dad and my sister and Arlo, Digby, my other nephew, he can't take it. Producer. But it's just stunningly beautiful. Yeah, and you just get your picnic and you go and cot up on a rock. Is that what drew you there, just the nature then? Or the Italian culture as well? The Italian culture, because they're the same people. It's about family, life, living comes first, food, enjoying your life. And very warm and friendly, welcoming, absolutely, absolutely. Work is, you work to live. To live. You don't live to work. Yeah. And that's obviously very much the Caribbean way. Right. And just not doing unnecessary stuff to live. Yeah. It's like when you live somewhere so beautiful, you just feel you're satisfied. Yeah, you're satisfied. Yeah. You're not trying to get anywhere. Because you're there. You're there. You've arrived. That's why. Like when it's nice weather, nice nature, you got natural resources, good food, fruit, everything. Yeah. It's probably all these cold countries that had to go out and take over other places. Exactly, because you feel like you're lack. You feel like you're constantly in lack. Yeah. When the winter comes here, that's what you feel like. You're just searching for something else to get you out of this grey rut. Yeah. I do suffer a bit in the London winters, and it's not because it gets cold, it's because it gets grey and dark. Exactly. If it was cold and fresh and blue sky, but freezing, then just wrap up warm, go out, get some light. It's just when it's dark that really does affect me. Like when I wake my daughter up and she's, it's 8 or 7 o'clock and it's still dark, and we get to school, it's still dark. When I pick her up from school, it's dark. So basically outside, it's only light while she's at school. Yeah, exactly. And that's for months on end. And I think that can affect you quite a lot. Absolutely. And I think that's why as a city in London, we have to do so much to entertain ourselves,
Yeah.
to try and find things to make us feel better. But
Which creates a, you know, something as well.
It
Then
creates
you have to do something.
Yeah, you have to do something, or you just get depressed and stay in bed and say, I'm not going out, it's too cold, too drizzly, too grey. But as soon as it doesn't matter what it could be winter, spring, whatever. When I'm in Italy, I don't feel that way.
Right.
I will be out.
You enjoy the winter.
I enjoy the
well.
winter because there's light.
Yeah.
The light is completely different.
How does it get in the winter, cold-wise? Like,
I mean, obviously, if you're in Milan and places like that, it's cold.
Sure.
But the difference is it's not insipid light. We have insipid light in this country.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably because we're an island and maybe there's a lot of mist. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when you fly into London, you're like in the plane and it's actually sunny above, and then you just see this like
just goes to this
cloud level that's just like blocking it.
Yeah,
in.
absolutely.
Sometimes I think they should do what they do in Dubai, like start messing with the weather and just, like, open up the sky.
Trust me, they're already doing that.
Yeah,
they're already doing that to make us more depressed.
Oh, no.
So there we go. I don't know what it is about this island. It's a very strange place.
Yeah, but then I will say, because we suffer so much in winter, when we reach April and you start getting that first bits of spring coming through, you really feel the difference in people. Like the seasons here, you feel the seasons, like, and it's such a, because they've come from such a depressing like 6 months or whatever, from like October, November, December, January, February. Yeah. By the time you get to first bits of green coming back on the trees and a bit of spring and a bit of warmth, and it's just the excitement that people have. You don't have that in places where they just have nice weather all the time. They just take it for granted. Kind of,
yeah.
And then you get the longer summer evenings,
exactly.
and then you see, so it's nice weather, the pubs are spilling over onto the streets, everyone's like excited.
Exactly.
You just feel it in the air.
I was saying this the other day, I could see, because we've been having such nice weather, I can see why when like tourists come here, they love London.
Right, because they come in summer.
Yeah, because they come and they see this, and they think, oh,
this is amazing.
Yeah, and I almost wish I'd experienced London as a tourist.
Right.
So I'd appreciate it more. The more time I spend away, I do appreciate what London has, because one thing about London is I think it's the only place where you can get so many different cultures' food cooked authentically
by the people from that culture. Yeah.
That's the only thing that frustrates me when I go anywhere in Europe. If I want Thai food, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, that's not Thai food.
That's not Thai food.
It's the same when I go to Brazil, or at least where I was living in Brazil. They had like a couple of Chinese restaurants, but it wasn't the Chinese you get in London.
No.
It was like some weird noodles with soya sauce. And that was it. I was like, that's not Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, people say, oh, you know, the food in England's terrible, but
it's not English food.
It's not English food.
No one's eating English food.
Yeah, no one's eating English food. Well, in London,
maybe a Sunday roast.
Yeah, maybe a Sunday roast here.
But
they've, you know, as they like to say, they love to use the word elevated. I can't stand it when I hear that word. But they have elevated British cuisine because of all the influences of all the melting pot that's come into the UK.
Sure,
you know,
and that's one manifestation of the multicultural.
Where it's worked.
Where it's like that. I really, after living in different places, really did appreciate that in London. It's like, you know, try to be racist in London and you're just going to be angry all day.
Exactly.
You know, that you walk out, you hear people from all different cultures, and then you realize in a lot of other countries that is, they don't have that.
No.
Like, you know, I lived in Thailand. I always felt like, as they call you, a falang, a foreigner. You know, I lived in Brazil. They always called me a gringo. And no matter how much I integrated, that's always what they see you as, kind of thing. Whereas in London, everyone's from everywhere. So there's no...
It can feel completely
there's no feeling of outside, of being an outsider ever.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's very welcoming. And that I really appreciate London, and the food and the culture that comes with it, which I think is hard to replicate. You might get some of that a bit in New York, maybe Miami, maybe Dubai.
Yeah. Maybe Dubai. I don't think New York. I always find it so hard to eat in New York. Because I don't know what I'm eating. You know, the food is just full of so many additives. And it doesn't. You could be cooking something authentically, but at the end of the day, what am I eating?
Yeah. No, the food system in the US is definitely problematic in a lot of ways, and the amount of additives they allow, and you know, it's very different from the food in Europe. And In fact, there's a lot of what they call food deserts there, where there's literally whole cities or areas where you can't get fresh, good, healthy food. It's just all processed stuff. So that is, I mean, that's a whole subject of like a big problem that needs to be changed and addressed. But that's for the Americans to sort out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I spent so much time in America when I was younger. Well, I don't think I've been to every state in America apart from Hawaii and.
That was while you were touring, isn't it? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But and then obviously when I was a kid, I had family in America, so I'd spend so much time in America.
So how was touring around with Sting?
It was amazing. As I said, I appreciate it more now.
Yeah.
Back then, I was kind of like, well, this is how my life was supposed to be. I was quite nonchalant about it.
Yeah, just touring.
Yeah, just touring. But I missed creating.
Because you were just
singing backing
the same
vocalists.
songs.
Yeah. The lifestyle was great, obviously, and he was very generous in how we travelled and the whole experience, very Libra-esque. Right. He is a Libra. Right. But for me, I like to create things.
That's the thing, because I mean, I even think that with musicians, like, it must almost get boring saying your same songs over and over and over.
You need to be in the studio creating.
You gotta, there's nothing new unless you mix it up with the production of your show or something. But people go to your show to hear your song, so that must be another tough thing for bands or musicians. They're people who know them for one thing, and they want to like play their new stuff. And people go, no, allow your new stuff. Play the greatest
classics.
Hits.
Yeah, but ultimately you're still playing your creation. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was singing backing vocalists. So I'm singing like little snippets of oohs and oh, there we go. So that and other things that were going on in my life at the time, I didn't at the time fully enjoy where I was, what was actually happening to me.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a huge thing to like.
I wasn't in the moment.
To learn to stop and appreciate things, because it's so easy to, like you say, focus on what you don't have or whatever. Whereas if you just, almost force yourself to be like, look what I have, and just make a note of that and be appreciative and grateful for it. And then, it's so easy to focus on the next thing you're going to get. But if you can settle into that appreciation every day, even the simple things, like I can walk, I can see, I can, I'm of good health, simple things like that. Just thinking of the things that you have while you have them. It's like you don't appreciate your hand until you knock your finger and then suddenly you can't pick things up, and then you're like, oh my God,
Absolutely.
I had a working hand all those years and I never appreciated it, right? So that's like a little practice I try to do every day, like little gratitude lists and go through, and it makes you feel different.
It does.
You do feel different, and you see the world a different way. You project onto the world, sort of looking at what's good about it, and that sort of feeds more into your life rather than focusing on the lack, and then it's like a downward spiral and mental
That's what
pattern,
you'll meet every time, because that's what I did living in London. I never felt at home here. I was born here, I never felt at home here.
Where were you born? What part of London?
I was born in West London.
Okay.
So, but and every time I left, I felt better. I was like, well, as I said, every bit of my work has always taken me out of the country. But I noticed that I would just get angry with this place. And I said, that's not a good place to come from. This is the place I'm creating. And as soon as I changed that, now I enjoy, I mean, it's been years since I enjoyed London. Now I enjoy it. I don't know. It's just a mind shift.
Yeah.
Because
you change yourself. London's still the same.
Yeah, London's still the same. I am living inside this vessel here.
Yeah.
This is my home. Yeah. So ultimately, I have to make this home, the place where I'm happy. It doesn't matter what's around me.
It's true, yeah.
And then I will reflect whatever my external reality will reflect that back to me.
Yeah, I always think that phrase, like, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Is the way,
so,
absolutely.
You can make a heaven out of hell or hell out of heaven, depending on, your mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's speak a bit about the creative process, like, because I find it interesting that you do create everything in your head, but obviously then if you're working with clients, what would they typically bring to you to like start, or is it quite a wide variety?
Depends, yeah. It depends on it. I mean, some people have a really straight idea. Some people have no clue. And some people have, you can show them concepts and I am a visual, when I show a concept to a client, I will visualize it fully in 3D.
Yeah.
So they will
Which
see it.
makes the process so easy.
So
When
easy.
you work with us, because we did a lot of work on the house and we worked with a lot of different suppliers who were, a lot of them are still working 2D, right? And when you're working on building a house and layering it, there's always, you know, some wall design and then a ceiling design, but then you never see it all together.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you can approve the 2D images, but then once it's all put together, oh, I didn't realize
Yes, exactly.
that something else happens. But when you modeled it in 3D and you can even like fly through it and like twist it around and look at everything, and you can just chop and change bits of the background or whatever, that really helps the client to be like, yes, I like it, approve,
exactly.
or like, no, just change this one thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what because yes, it's all good and well showing a 2D plan, but people visualize in different ways.
Yeah.
It's like architects, they think that the client can understand these plans just by looking at it. No, they don't have your eyes. You see it, but they don't see it. So for me, fundamentally, everything has to be built in 3D so the client can look around the room, see what's going on, and ultimately, once they see that, there's a 99% chance that they're going to go for everything you've designed in that concept.
Right.
Before one brick is touched, you save yourself so much time, so much wasted effort.
And tension, because that happens a lot in the design process. The client approves something, you start building, and then they go on site and they start to be like, oh, actually, can we change that? I didn't realize that door was going to be that in relation to that. And then that's when it gets expensive and changes and tension, because when a change on a construction site happens, it's got a cost involved. Then it's like, who's going to pay for that? If it's a client, okay, but if it's a client change, it's on him. But there's often what happens as well is multi-suppliers have like an interface. So one will be doing one thing, one will be doing the other, and they're just doing their own blocks. But if you didn't see it all together, then when it comes to putting it together, there's an issue. Then who's going to pay for that mistake or that lack of integration? You know.
Yeah.
And that's when I've always had the biggest problems on construction sites I've worked with. That when there's a change and it's like, oh God, cost runs. I mean, it's crazy how much of the construction projects end up running over cost and time.
Yeah,
you know, it's
so
hard to get it in budget and on time.
The software we have, you know, all the BIM and everything, it's like there's no excuse for it. Obviously, there's always going to be something. Well, maybe sometimes things do run smoothly, generally not. But there's always something once you start breaking things down, you're going to discover. Because ultimately, if you've got a new construction, I find, well, that'll be easier. But if you're working on a building where you're knocking things, but you're designing pre-demolition, then when things are demolished, you might find something that needs to be addressed. So, but going through that whole process of designing something so the client can actually feel the space properly, understand, see every angle of the space, and then designing everything in the space so it fits and it works. Instead of just buying something off the shelf. Obviously, clients will like to buy stuff off the shelf, but my thing is I like to do bespoke interiors where everything is designed for that space.
Right, even the lighting.
Like
this background. You designed this.
Yep, this is the soundproofing.
No one else can buy this.
No.
Right. This was, and how did you do this? This is like layers of foam that were like...
It's felt.
Felt.
So, it's soundproofing felt. So I just designed it and had it layered, and we, with the company was called Aotex. They did a few prototypes for me.
Sure.
Yeah, until we got it right. And so it's kind of looks like the Pantheon. If you look at the ceiling in the Pantheon, that's what it looks like. So then we've got,
on the ceilings as well.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I really like that.
Yeah, so it creates a beautiful effect, and
And it's great with the lighting, how it catches it.
Yeah, how it catches the light and everything. And you know, with this sofa that we're sitting on, you can't tell, but we're actually on a platform right now.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about this sofa is, because on your brief, you were on the mood board kind of things you were sending me, you wanted something slouchy.
Yeah.
But I knew that wasn't going to be practical in here. So this sofa has the look of like you've just thrown some cushions and it's slouchy, but it's actually really structured.
Yeah.
And it's firm, it's really structured, solid, but it looks relaxed.
Yeah.
So
and it's deep enough to have a bit of lounginess to it. Yeah.
And everything, yeah.
That's good, yeah.
And
I'm
like,
going to add some extra footrest.
Extra footrest. And that's the thing, when you're making something specifically for your space, we can say, okay, right, we're going to design some tables to sit here so we can put some drinks and things. We can add some more footrests. You can just add. But when you buy something directly off the shelf, it may
you
not.
Can't go to the manufacturer and be like, hey,
can you just add that there or do that there? No, they're not going to do that.
I guess the big difference is price, right?
And obviously budget.
Like, what would you say the uplift on average is from off the shelf to customized?
Well,
it's hard. It depends.
It depends because it's as long.
How long is a piece of string?
That's the saying we're looking for. How long is a piece of string? Because at the end of the day, if you're getting something from China, which they've just copied from Italy, you can get that for nothing.
Right.
But if you go to the actual source, if you go to Italy where they've made it, they've gone through all the R&D. That's what people don't realise.
Yeah.
Okay, you may be paying for a name also, but you're also paying for the R&D, the research and development.
That got it to be so perfect.
Got it to be so perfect.
Yeah.
And there are so many overheads for that.
Yeah.
And people just think, oh, you know, it only cost £500 to make. No, it didn't.
That's the unit cost
That's the unit cost now.
After
how many years of R&D and then investment.
And then marketing
and the brand and all the staff and all the and everything. I'm just like, this is absolute nonsense. People don't think. And also, business is there not to sell you stuff at cost. It's there to make a profit.
Of course. Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody eats.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy. I know what it takes to bring a product to market. I know what it takes to make something, and I know the skill involved in that. Now, going and observing something at Design Week and taking a photo of something, sending it back to the factory in China and then making it in 5 minutes, I find that totally disrespectful.
To the designer.
To the whole,
put the time and the research and
exactly.
Workshopped it to get to that point.
Exactly. You know, I just find that.
So you never
boring.
Incorporate imports from China in your projects ever?
The only way I'd incorporate stuff from China into my projects is if it's their artisan stuff, which is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, their lacquer, their beautiful like inlay marquetry with all the beautiful mother of pearl. They're, I mean, stunning. They're.
Have you been to China?
Yes.
Right. How is the factory scene there? Because
I didn't really spend much time in factories. I did. I have 2 cousins that are married to 2 Chinese lovely ladies. They have Chinese wives. So it was a wonderful experience. I went to Yunnan and all the Sichuan province. So the Yunnan for me was just stunning because it's the proper, you know, traditional
Chinese. So are the buildings even Chinese architecture?
It's like, you know, out of what's that? Assassin's Creed, you know that. You know, you imagine the ninjas going on top of the tops of the roofs and stuff. It was so beautiful, and all of the, you know, the beautiful dresses and the silk, stunning.
Do people still wear that stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I suppose
the
maybe
sort of traditional Chinese outfits.
Yeah, they do.
You still see people rocking it on the street.
The people in the fields with the hats and stuff, because in that region they have great coffee.
Right.
Yunnan coffee is fantastic. Yeah, so
really need to hit China. I mean, I've heard that people that have gone there to try to produce stuff, their mind's been blown by just the systems they have, and factories and everything. But I mean, I guess if you're making your prototype, you're doing your R&D, then you're just doing the production there. That's one thing. But if you're just like, hey, take this other guy's idea and I'll just copy it and do it, which there are a lot of companies doing that that do sort of look-alike furniture, like almost the same couch, but like just change it a little bit. Because can you patent a couch?
No.
A couch?
No, unless you've got like, there's no point patenting anything, especially when it's there's no point because you can never take them to, unless you've got millions and millions to waste in court.
Yeah, and in China, is there even copyright law?
I don't know. I have no idea. I doubt it very much.
Do they even?
I doubt it very. I don't think so. But for me, the traditional side of it is amazing. That's what I find absolutely stunning.
That's like the traditional Chinese,
Yes.
like artisan.
Yeah, artisans.
Right.
Stunning. And that's what I appreciate about Italy. I am always about preserving the skill of the artisan.
Yeah.
So, and there is skill. There's generations of families behind that.
That's why I find it interesting when someone says like made in Italy. Which is a whole country, by the way. So that doesn't mean, but it does have like weight to it.
It has absolute
when it's
weight
like
to it.
when you say versus made in China, people do have a feeling of, oh, that's, you know, made in China.
But that's
as almost like a negative connotation because it's just like kind of reproduced copies or whatever.
And that's where it went wrong.
Right.
If it was made in China because of the beautiful artisan, then that would
be like raised like traditional.
Why?
Or when you hear made in Germany, then you think, okay, engineered well.
Exactly.
Like, or you hear like, made in Japan, you might think good on the electronic side or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I haven't been to Japan yet, but you know the joints and you know the way the woodwork.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So minimal.
So
clean.
So clean, and the fact that these houses have been standing for how many
thousands of
years, and they're made out of wood just because of the joints, those complex joints.
Oh, in the way they interlock.
Yes.
It's not like
no glue, no nails, no nothing.
Really?
Unbelievable.
So it's just like a giant puzzle of wood that's just held together for thousands of years.
Exactly. And they have like these obviously traditional joints that you can. I mean, and the tools. They have this competition that we have a plane. Who can plane the thinnest amount of wood? That's how precise the tools are. Right. That for me is just, that's why I'm nerd mode.
But could they bring that to the like those kind of joint house building, or the people here just don't know how to do it?
No, you obviously can learn. You can go and do just like I did when I went to Italy for shoemaking. I went and I learnt from artisans, 4 generations, to learn exactly how these handmade shoes are made in the factories. Yeah, nice. I mean I just enjoyed that so much because I obviously love shoes.
And so you were making your own shoes?
Yeah, I was making my own shoes. I approached my shoe collection as pieces of art. And I am due to make another collection, but obviously I'm very grateful. My business is going very well. I have to find the time to do this collection. I've done 2 collections.
Right. Shoe collections.
2 shoe collections.
What was that under which brand? Or?
Same Saucemark.
Saucemark, everything's Saucemark.
Everything's Saucemark. That's my brand of creation. Yeah, As it's Saucemark is Samantha Origin Swaby making her mark. That's what I do.
Okay.
So that's all encompassing on that. But they were shoes that you could put on a mantelpiece.
Right, they were literally pieces of art.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, women love shoes. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but it just makes you happy. Because
really? Why?
It's like shoes that can make or break an outfit. You can have the most amazing dress on. You wear the wrong shoes, the whole outfit's falls to.
Really?
So shoes are fundamental.
Okay.
Yeah, fundamental. You have to have the right shoes.
I wonder how much guys notice versus girls notice.
Men love shoes.
Men do?
Well, I don't know, mate. Well,
or maybe the men, you know.
Yeah, in general. Yeah, I always.
Feet.
Yeah, feet. Okay. You know, in general, and how shoes look. You know, we may say to ourselves, "Why are we breaking our necks on these heels?" But they look so nice.
Yeah, and heels as well are not good for you. Like your body, your spine.
Yeah, it depends. Flat shoes aren't good for you either. Completely flat shoes, because that will misalign you. So you have to just have a small, at least a couple of inches, which makes you stand up straight.
Yeah.
That's what a heel will do. It will make you stand up straight.
Right, and you have to walk a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a ballerina on her tiptoes. It just instantly brings the posture up.
Isn't that like damaging your foot?
Yeah, of course, it's not great for the foot.
Right.
But
you look better.
It's accentuating the beauty of the body and the foot.
And the legs,
elongates and everything.
A bit, yeah.
Obviously, not walking around all day in them.
Yeah.
But
occasional special occasion.
Yeah. To be honest, for me, I drive a lot.
Yeah.
I hardly walk anywhere.
Right.
So my shoes, I just enjoy them.
Right. So you wear high heels almost every day, or?
I wear at least 2 inches. I wear flat shoes very rarely.
Right.
You know.
Does it feel feminine when you're?
Yeah. I just feel complete. I just think life is too short to look boring.
Right.
You know, each to their own. Everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah.
I like beautiful things because I like to make beautiful things.
Sure.
So I like my clothes to look a certain way. I love my shoes. So I just like anything that looks like somebody cared.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting concept, that the idea of caring and how that feeds into the product. Like, I watched an interview recently with Jonathan Ive, and he was speaking about when they have the Apple products and how they really thought about, you know, they obviously come with the cables, and like how they, you know, tied the cable and had that little tab which you pull off, that is just to make that satisfying, and that little thing that's like, that's saying somebody cared.
Somebody cared, exactly.
About you, and that if you open that, you know, but millions of people are going to be receiving that, and that really stuck in my mind as well. That, you know, to people know when someone's cared.
Observe nature. Look at the beauty out there.
Yeah.
Nature cares.
Yeah.
Look at the fruits. Look at the mangoes. Look at the bananas. Look at how they're packaged naturally. Look at the flowers. I mean, that's what I find just like, you know, mind blowing, because I'm obviously vegan, and I just think, like, you know, people are like, well, what do you eat? I'm like, well, all the good stuff. I mean, just look at the fruits. Like, fruits are just amazing. Like, you could just have fruit for breakfast with some oats or some peanut butter or whatever, and that's just like, you know, all the sweets are trying to copy the fruits, like watermelon flavour. Like, ultimately, just have the actual fruit itself. But ultimately, we get everything from nature. There is no such thing as synthetics. There is no such thing as synthetics. There's nowhere else to get it from apart from nature.
So even the synthetics have been made from
nature.
Something. That was around.
It's just that we've manipulated in a way that reverses its positive effects, which is dumb. But that's what I'd say.
For commercial reasons, often it's to like transport and store.
And also other more nefarious agendas behind things, because you make money off people being unwell. Right. That's a Western thing. Yeah. You know, ultimately, now, I always say that nature is fundamentally capitalist, because there is an effort in nature that has to happen for it to preserve itself and it to have a reason to reproduce itself. Right. If it's not gaining anything, that's my concept of capitalism. Yeah. You know, it's like
it gets wiped out. Like, if it's not serving the whole system, it gets wiped out.
It gets wiped out. Yeah. Every effort has to have energetic gain.
Right.
So that's my brain when I think.
So they only do what is necessary.
They only do what's necessary. Yeah. Absolutely. They're not going to do. They're not going to do something. Nature doesn't do anything for nothing. Right. It's not. What's the word?
Pointless.
No. It's not. There is a word. It's not. It's almost like it's not philanthropic. You know, it doesn't do anything. Sure. It's not even charitable. Right. Everything it does is for its own self-preservation.
Sure.
I say it. But if you actually look at the whole ecosystem of it all, and when you disrespect it, there is a negative output from nature to you. That's why you have to respect it. So it's like when people say, oh, it's all for free. Yes, you may think it's for free, but the amount of effort that every single living thing puts into itself to preserve itself and to keep going.
Yeah, and somehow it all works in like this
symbiotic, but that's due to respect.
Big system.
And nature fundamentally has clear boundaries, which if it's disrespected by whatever creature or whatever plant or whatever insect comes along to disrespect that symbiotic ecosystem,
it will kind of find a way to self-regulate and balance.
Yes,
right?
and balance.
I mean, that's what I found interesting when I was studying about agroforestry and food forests, where, you know, traditional or normal industrialized agriculture is all monoculture, you know, use pesticides, herbicides, and just have the same crop all like multiplied by millions, whatever. Whereas how does a rainforest work? Or like they have a whole ecosystem of millions of different species, like from the smallest microorganisms in the soil and the insects, and it has a like natural balancing system. So when there's too much of one, it attracts like a predator to kind of reduce it. So you have natural pest control systems.
Absolutely.
Pest is, you know, a word that we use because we want the crop, but if you grew an ecosystem, which is way more complicated to do than, you know, that's probably why this like industrialized agriculture has just, you know, gone so well in terms of how much it's expanded across the globe, is because it's a lot less skill involved, a lot less knowledge involved. It's just, you know, cut everything down, plant some seeds, and then
Monoculture.
harvest at one time, spray and then harvest.
Yeah,
Like,
and
so
then you've
it's
got
just-
dead soil.
Yeah,
And
then
dead food.
That's what's happening.
So it's like, what's the point
degrading
in
the
that?
topsoil, etc. Because then it's after it's harvested, it's often left exposed. The sun, you know, causes acidification of the soil. Whereas when you have a forest and it's all feeding off itself, the leaves that fall turn into compost for the soil, feeds all the microorganisms in the soil. Then the worms are eating that, and the worms' poo is like nutrients, you know, for the soil, for the plants, and then the plants grow. And then if there's too much of one thing, then it will attract birds, and birds will come and eat those insects. So you have a whole, you know, cacophony of interactions and stuff, which is obviously quite difficult to recreate from humans. But I think if you could start to model some of those relationships of what plants and species and animals and creatures work together, and maybe with the help of AI that can, you know, process that amount of kind of interactions and permutations happening.
Or
You
you just stop living on top of each other in cities, like thinking that you have to reproduce this fake system to feed all these people in this city. It doesn't take much to have a little plot and let nature do what it does. You know, no monocultures which ultimately destroy the soil. You know, you can feed yourself with quite a small amount of land.
I agree.
You know, and it's all that is because I wouldn't say get rid of cities. There is something beautiful about a hub of industry, a hub of work, but you've got to understand what it is. But in terms of growing your own food, it's possible anywhere. Nature will take hold anywhere, and you can do that. It's just people haven't, the way our lives are structured, working 9 to 5 or working whatever, 5 to 10 o'clock in the evening, 20, you know, how many hours a week, to put that extra effort in to maintaining a small holding or your back garden to grow crops. That's where the problem lies. That's why we need
We're
things.
so cut off from that. People have forgotten like how to grow food or where it comes from. And like you're saying, you can grow it, and even in like a balcony or something, you could grow some herbs, you could start to grow some small things. And I think that's an interesting thing to bring back into culture and society, of people do start to grow a bit of their own food, because that helps so much. First of all, you know where the food's come from, you've managed it yourself, you're reconnected with your food. So maybe even energetically, the fact you're like going and checking on your food and you're putting your care into it, and then you're eating that, if you believe in energy of food and what's going in, rather than some pre-packaged thing from a factory that's processed and full of whatever,
and flown
the
from
fact that you're
how many miles away, ridiculous.
Which has caused all those other knock-on effects of pollution and climate change and, you know, food miles that have caused all that.
Don't get started on climate change. But anyway, that concept is another money-spinning thing. But anyway,
you don't believe in climate change?
Climate changes. It does naturally. You know,
right.
I remember when I was young, summers used to be like boiling, and all the grass everywhere used to be yellow.
Right.
I haven't seen that in years. I'm hoping for that to come back. It'd be lovely to have a long hut. Maybe this
isn't it? Are we having the sort of hottest summers on record type thing?
Well, so when did they start recording it? Five years ago. You know what I mean? Come on now.
Can you pull up some like temperature of the UK or like hottest summers or something?
But we've only been recording it for how long?
Wow.
The Earth has been in existence probably for eternity.
So you mean historically
it's
like,
nonsense.
If you go into the billions, then we've had like ice ages.
Exactly.
And
Ultimately, I think that humans have got a big opinion of themselves, what they think they can affect.
Right.
Nature we are part of nature. Nature will do what it needs to do to survive.
But I think we if we're doing it on such a scale, surely that's going to have an effect, especially if you're doing things like cutting down like huge amounts of rainforest.
That's different.
That's going to affect the water cycles that affect, you know, there's intercontinental water cycles as well, like, you know, and sand is coming from Africa, and I don't know how, but there is all this like there's all these flows of stuff going through.
I ultimately think just humans need to stop being so messy and disrespectful, ultimately. But we have been given so much on this planet from nature to survive, to strive, and ultimately nature loves CO2. That's why we have plants. It loves it.
Yeah.
You know,
but then we just need to plant more. I mean, there should be more trees everywhere.
But then there'd be more CO2. You do understand that? More trees mean more CO2.
Means more oxygen.
It means more oxygen. But at the end of the day, to have more trees thriving, we need more CO2.
Right.
When we have higher CO2, crops go bigger.
Yeah.
We want more. If you want bigger crops and more yield,
so then we should just plant more trees and then burn more fossil fuels.
Simple. I almost think, because I used to think about the story of Prometheus, you know, giving fire to humanity, and oil. You know, it's like the blood of the earth. It's never. I don't think it's a finite resource. I think it's constantly there. It's like the veins inside the veins of the earth. It was given to us for a reason.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is we've already created the mess to get the oil, right?
Yeah.
Now we've managed to refine it and get it to a relative level where we can extract it and not create so much damage in oil. We already gone through that R&D, yeah?
Right.
And through that process of R&D, we created so much damage, which wasn't good, but we learnt through all those mistakes. But now we want to create another mess with electric, with batteries, with cobalt, with whatever these rare earth minerals.
Yeah.
We want to start and create a new mess. You already created the R&D for that. Just stick with that mess.
Isn't it the burning of the fossil fuels that is causing, not the initial infrastructure that went in to extract? Isn't it the burning of the fossil fuels that's causing CO2?
Yeah, but that's good. We can, as I said, we can benefit. We use the CO2 to create more forests.
Did you manage to find the sort of historical English warmest junior record and the UK's second warmest? Okay, so record started in 1884, so more than 100 years.
That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous.
In the grand scheme of the history of the planet.
Yeah, it's
Of
ridiculous.
course. Yeah.
And you've got to think about volcanoes. I mean, how many volcanoes are spewing out this X, Y, Z? Nature will do what it needs to do. We are creatures on this planet. We're not needed. So if we get too big for our boots and we create too much damage for us to survive in the environment, we'll be extinct.
We'll be pulled out.
We'll be pulled out.
Yeah.
But nature will still be going. We can't destroy it.
Yeah, but I always think that as well. Like, maybe we'll say, let's save the planet. Well, the planet's going to survive no matter what.
Regardless.
It can turn to like a frozen rock for years,
exactly.
and then it can turn out.
This arrogance.
Like, we need to save the conditions on the planet that humans can live.
Exactly.
Right. So we might be messing up those conditions, and you know there are obvious knock-on effects from a lot of human activity. I think animal agriculture is one of the worst things when you look at all the environmental knock-on effects of, like, you know, the pig farms and the fertilizers running off into the rivers, into the seas, causing dead zones in the seas, and you know obviously the deforestation of the rainforest, which is mainly done to grow soya to feed animals, right? And then all the stuff that goes in with the animal agriculture. I mean, that's a whole thing.
That's why I think hunting, at the end of the day, is the way to go. That's the natural way. If you are going to eat meat that's hunted. If you're going to eat fish, go and fish and get the fish.
Is there enough space to have everybody eating that way?
Of course there is.
Like, if you had, I mean, obviously, ideally, having animals be able to run free. Like, if you had to eat animals, rather than keep them in a cage from the moment they're born until they die and they kind of suffer during their life.
That's disgusting.
If they're like free, like a fish is, you know, free in the sea until the moment he's caught and then he dies.
He dies.
There's still potential, I think, ethical issues with that, but that's way better than like farmed fish from the beginning that are living in horrible conditions and maybe pumped full of other drugs or whatever, and all, like, you know, pigs is one of the pigs and cows are the ones that I feel probably most sorry for, because a pig is on the animal intelligence scale more intelligent than a dog.
No, I totally disagree with that.
Pull it up, Digby.
No, you can't pull it. Look.
Pull out the animal intelligence index.
A blade of grass has got the same intelligence as you and I.
Okay, if you want to go deep on that. Yeah, like, we're all intelligent.
We are all intelligent. Otherwise, we wouldn't be thriving as a being. We wouldn't exist. Nothing that is dumb can exist.
Oh yeah, everything has intelligence.
It's because you can't understand its language.
It's a different type of intelligence. Yeah.
No, it's not.
No?
Absolutely. You only understand your intelligence, right? But intelligence is intelligence. And intelligence means you know how to reproduce yourself and how to constantly exist in a successful way, right? That to me is ultimate and in the most streamlined way. A blade of grass is super intelligent. It just grows out the ground, a tree, it just sits there, holds its branches out to the air, and it thrives. And we have to do so much just to exist. These things
but what
are
I mean
ultimate
is like,
intelligence.
why don't we kill other humans, or why is that not allowed? It's because the humans recognize that there's certain level of consciousness. At least that's how we justify not doing it, right? Obviously, partly because we don't want to be killed ourselves, so we all agree to let's not kill each other, kind of rule. But then there is some kind of understanding of like, don't kill dogs in the West, for instance, because
everything has its thing.
We appreciate them as a being that's having a similar experience to ours, maybe on a slightly kind of reduced capacity on some levels of the skills we have, which we count as the intelligence,
we recognize,
which we put on the intelligence index. But then, so then we would say, don't do that to the dog, because people that have dogs recognize them as like beings with personalities.
We recognise its emotional intelligence.
Yes.
But we don't recognise the emotional intelligence of the blade of grass, or if we did, then we might feel the same. But there's a reason for that, because we're all here to survive.
Yeah.
If we did recognise the emotional intelligence of a plant or a thing, what are you going to eat?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
You can eat plant,
But the point is, if you knew that when
think about it like this, you need to kind of learn about every being before you can say what the ethics are of us eating that. Because if you eat an apple from a tree, you're like playing the role of like a bee helping it to spread it, reproduce.
I mean,
because what's supposed to happen is you eat the apple, you as a human walk around somewhere else, you take a dump, the poo acts as fertilizer with the, in the soil somewhere, which is what, if we were all living in soil and not concrete everywhere, then that seed would be planted. So the tree makes its apples more juicy and attractive and colourful to encourage you to eat it.
Trees are savage. They sacrifice their children for the benefit of themselves. Savage.
What, an apple tree?
An apple is the baby of a tree, right?
Well, it's its like sperm.
No, it's reproducing itself, right?
Yeah.
So what is it doing? It's sacrificing itself to reproduce itself.
Why is it sacrificing itself?
If
isn't it just like almost that's its seed?
Well,
so it's like blowing a load in your mouth and going over it.
I mean, you could say that as well, yeah.
Kind of. But the point is that's like a symbiotic relationship, which is healthy for there's like almost a deal. We get the flesh of the apple, you get a baby, reproduce somewhere else, right? So that I see no ethical problem with. You can, if you want to be, go deep onto it, look at certain fruits and vegetables which we eat, or that are like, oh, when you do that, you kill the whole plant type thing. And then that brings up the ethical question, because you're killing something, right? Maybe. But with animals, to me, it's like, at least mammals, I mean,
no, I can't judge, because at the end of the day, I respect animals, and other animals eat other animals. So if I have to judge them, if I have to judge myself, I have to judge them.
But it's not...
Everything survives off death. Everything.
Yeah, that's true. So everything is dying and all the death gets fed in.
It fertilizes everything and keeps everything alive, right?
Yeah.
Everything is there. Plants live off
everything's
death.
Eating everything.
Yeah, but that's
when we
die,
we get eaten.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
We get eaten by fungus, by bacteria, by like, microorganisms. But yeah.
Plants are cannibals.
It's just like weird because we are carnivore.
Well,
like,
dead, it's alive.
humans are herbivore, or whatever they call it, mixed. What if you eat herbivore and carnivore? You're omnivore. They do, but any other carnivore, if there was like some roadkill on the side of the road, they would be happy to eat that, right? But we wouldn't.
It depends how long it's been there.
What, if it was fresh, you would eat it?
Yeah, I mean, people do, don't they? If a pheasant that's been run over, some if a deer.
But my point
Depends.
is, it's not like, I don't think it's the natural feeling of a person to, if they see an animal, to think, I want to eat it. If they were like face to face with it, I think it only is allowed to happen because we're cut off from it. We're cut off from the process.
Yeah, but how many tribes eat? People are still living naturally, and they will kill an animal to eat it, but they just won't consume as much.
Yeah, it's like once in a while.
Once in a while, maybe
a
they'll
little small portion kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like.
So did we get the pig level of intelligence? Do we have like an index somewhere?
How on earth can you have a pig level of intelligence index? Who made that? Who judged the pig's level of intelligence?
They do tests on them.
Yeah,
they do stuff like, can they solve puzzles? Do they respond to their name? How is their social structure? They probably have some like idea for it.
Yeah, but that's judging it by a human standard.
Yeah.
So that's your measure. So therefore you can't know. But if you're judging intelligence by
Pigs
your
are
own,
actually intelligent and clean animals, actually.
yeah, if you're judging by our own standards, then that's not. I don't think that's a measure of much, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's just me.
So
Ultimately, I think everything is intelligent. Everything is alive. You just have to respect everything because ultimately, say for instance, in my mother, she is Dominican. They are very much in a symbiotic relationship. It's the nature island, and it's a part called the Kalinago, where the native people still live, and everybody has their almanac, and everybody will be doing everything by the sun, moon, and the stars. You know, that's how they.
When they plant?
Well, they plant, when they fish, when they breed a cow or they breed a goat.
So they're like in tune with the rhythms and
with the
cycles
rhythms.
of nature and the stars, and which affects, or the moon affects everything. Yeah.
So, for instance, when my mother had her 60th birthday, we were going to sacrifice. The goat was going to give us its life for the party. So everybody before.
It was going to give, or you were
going to take it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so generous of you.
Yeah. But the point is, the goat had a wonderful life. But everybody before the goat was killed comes to see the goats and thanks it for what it's about to give you. And the funny thing is, what I always find ironic, I don't know if he's still the village slaughterer, but his name was Vital. Life.
Right.
He won. His name was Vital, but he had won so many awards for his animal husbandry or whatever. Okay. Yeah, he was a very peaceful guy.
Right.
So, but it's quick. They just slit the throat. It's over.
Yeah.
And maybe
one bad day.
Yeah, one bad day. But maybe you'll eat that once in a year. You'll have a goat or a cow, because there are.
One goat you can, like, once you've cut it up, you save it and then you eat it over many months or whatever.
I mean, back then, I don't know now, but I mean, people have like one cow for like milk and stuff.
Sure.
And goats. So beef is not something you'd eat regularly. If you did, because there's not like herds of them. So, you know, it's mainly chickens, because people have chickens, but they're running around. And then there's hunting seasons, and you'll go and hunt manaku and all these other things that they have. And
what's
then
a manaku?
it looks like a big rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
pull up a manaku.
A manaku. Tastes good.
Oh, what? Really?
Oh yeah, it tastes good. When they smoke it, oh, it's really good.
It's like a rat.
It's got these teeth like this.
Maybe rat tastes good.
It's like a tree rat.
Oh my god.
I don't know how you spell
like
manaku.
Looks almost like a.
Is that it? That's not it. That's a possum.
A possum, but that looks kind of ratty.
No, it looks like a. It's got two teeth. That's a possum. I don't know how you spell manaku. I'm dyslexic, so don't ask me.
Manaku.
Yeah, but they smoke it, and that's not a manaku. That's a possum.
Is it?
So basically, we eat possum.
Manaku, though,
no way.
It says manaku.
Oh my goodness, is that what Dominicans call manacus?
Oh my god,
possums?
you've been eating possums all this
time. Oh my god, is that a manaku? But I can't see the teeth.
It's so cute.
It's not a man. Is that it? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, so yeah, I have eaten that.
A possum sandwich. Okay.
And it tastes delicious. You smoke it and you make a lovely broth out of it. It's delicious. I haven't eaten much of it, but I have eaten it. And there's, but that's hunting season. You go and do this certain thing, and also wild boar. Amazing. I know you're a vegan, so but I just appreciate.
I always remember wild boar from the Asterix cartoons. At the end, they would always like eat wild boar. That would always be the celebration. I'd always like want to try it. I tried it before I was vegan.
And I appreciate the fact that you go out and hunt that. I appreciate that. I appreciate.
Yeah, I think you know, in a weird way, I would encourage people to kill animals themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
At least go through, I mean, not
All
just
men.
for the fun of it.
If we're going to go back...
But I mean, if you want to like eat meat, just
For sure.
reconnect with where it's come
Exactly,
from, at
I
least
agree.
to understand and appreciate, and don't be so blasé about it, and understand that was a living being,
Yeah,
and understand
respect,
that it's like
absolutely.
have a bit more respect for it. You know,
I think
'cause-
slaughterhouses and that, it's just disgusting. I just
well,
think it's so
if you
cruel.
see the slaughterhouse workers, the number, you know, that's a horrible job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine you're just waking up every day
To kill
murdering,
yeah,
like
exactly.
over and over on a killing line.
Now, that's what I
A lot
always
of them
think,
have
yeah.
mental health problems
That-
afterwards. It's a very high
Yeah.
turnaround. You know, leads to major problems, alcoholism, all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. And you know,
I do actually think that's the correct wording to use, murder, in that scenario.
yeah.
Whereas hunting is like, it's a, you know, the animal in you. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's like a fight for survival, just like how an animal will hunt another animal. That
Yeah.
is and when you do it, like for instance, an animal will eat, and then they can all go by the watering hole with the animals they eat and be perfectly fine because their stomach's full. It's not about
Is
greed.
that true? I thought that was just in Lion King.
No,
Oh,
no,
that's actually true.
That's actually true.
It's based on truth. That
It's
what,
based on
like a
truth.
lion and a zebra
A lion and a zebra,
would
they
hang out by the
all,
water hole.
all by the water hole. They're all drinking. If their stomach's full, they're not bothered.
Right.
When their stomach's empty, then it's
and then
another
how does
story.
a zebra know that the lion, his stomach's full?
We'll have to, if we could
Well,
speak their
that's ask a
language,
zebra.
if we could speak their language, but I can assure you, that is one thing that humans have lost.
Is the connection?
Is the connection, is the universal language. We've divided up all these languages to create, so we can't understand each other. We used to speak, I truly know that we used to speak the language of nature. Because other tribes do it. They just know stuff. Even when I'm in Dominica.
I think it's because they're so much in touch with nature.
Yes,
So
of
they
course.
still like just as simple as pay attention to and listen.
Yeah.
Like, so we're going to say about Dominican.
It's like it's like they just have this connection. They just like fishing. They just know when the fish are going to come. It's like,
Sure.
oh, that moon's in blah
Yeah,
blah
they'll
blah. There's
see
going to
the
be some
weather
titty in the
feeling, or they'll feel
it.
something
They
in the
know.
air,
Yeah,
and
there's a certain moon when they know the chalupa are going to come on the rocks, so they go and take them. And they, if you eat that means, and you get pregnant, you're going to have a boy child or whatever. You know, so they just know, and it's not even. It's real.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
that's huge. Like I've heard of even people saying that if they listen to the birds, you can get advised of, you know, if there's certain predators coming. They will. If you start to learn the bird songs and stuff, you can start to pick up
Absolutely.
information from that. And you know, I think also even just sort of because the modern man is so cut off from not only nature but from their own nature too.
Oh, absolutely.
Something simple like listening to your own body.
Exactly.
Like I think people just don't do that. Like
No.
just to even just practice tuning into what's going on in my body, doing body scans and seeing how you feel in your head and your, you know,
100%.
you can get a lot more information than people are like, doctor, tell me what's wrong with
No.
me. It's like, well, we should start tuning more into our bodies,
For
tuning
sure.
into nature, you know, tuning into these things which we're just so like in the modern world. We just think about outside modern human things, you know.
I suppose in that aspect, that's where we could say where modern capitalism comes in. You separate yourself so you could sell back what you ultimately know intuitively if you could get back to that space. So that's a way of separating your natural aspect. So you are no longer knowledgeable if that you have to pay someone or go somewhere else to get that knowledge back. Whereas ultimately you know it if you could, as they say, the Akashic records. All bit of knowledge. It's like we're all on like
you all have access to
we
it.
all have access to it. It's like the mushroom network, you know. We are all connected. It's all like we have natural Wi-Fi. That's how Wi-Fi works. This happens naturally. So if we can just tap into that, this information is there for us to take.
Right.
And I do sometimes think in terms of my design. If I open up, it's like there are things eternally being invented.
Right.
You've just got to be the first one to grab it
It's
from the
almost like
ether.
just fish it out.
You just fish
Like,
it out, you know. And that, because ultimately that's how I think these really, as you said, like Nikola Tesla, these great inventors, these great creators arrive because they open themselves up to tap into the source, to get the information they need because it is there. We're creating a artificial version of it through AI, through computers, but ultimately everything is connected.
And that's always a remix of what's already there.
That's already there.
Like, because it's trained on models, it will do new permutations, mix different things that will naturally create new things. But like you're saying, to get directly from source or whatever the Akashic Records is or whatever the intuition is, that is something that, you know, is a danger of being lost if people just go to AI.
Well, that's the thing. I read somewhere the other day that apparently with ChatGPT, people who are dictating ChatGPT to write to write essays or to do whatever thing, then they have no knowledge of what's actually in there.
Yeah.
So their brain, that part of their brain is dying.
Starts to,
and it's like sat nav. We used to use I used to use an A to Z, and before I left the house, I would.
And you have to like go down the page.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm going to do.
We're going to drive onto
there,
page 52.
Exactly. I'd memorise my route and I'd drive there.
Yeah.
And now, sat nav, I'm like,
oh yeah.
I've driven here 20 times and I can't remember how I got there. So I make a conscious.
You just like outsourced that thing.
That part of your brain.
And now you can't do it anymore. Yeah.
Like you never phone numbers. I knew everybody's phone number off by heart.
When my phone died, like if your phone dies when you're out, it's just like.
Exactly.
Where am I? What's going on? How do I pay for stuff? I can't even get into my car without my phone.
So how is that progress? How is that progress? That's not progress.
We've like delegated a big part of that brain. Like even our memory, a lot of it is now delegated to it. You know, to look up stuff.
Ultimately, this coming on to my purpose, which is to, and when I first made my first shoe collection, it was taking a step back into a valuable future. In other words, you're going back into the past to reclaim all those things, the artisans, the way of life, to really create a valuable future. Because ultimately, if there's a big CME and all this electrics goes down, do you know how to hunt? Do you know how to grow food? Do you know how to build a house? I could build a house with my own hands.
Could you?
Absolutely.
No way.
The only thing that would hinder me is I'm not very strong in terms of picking things up.
Okay.
But if I had the strength of a man, I could build my own house. I can follow instructions. There's nothing I can't learn. From zero, from scratch. Why? Because I have a vested interest in how things are made.
Right. So
and I always have done.
Yeah, especially when you're doing all the joinery and all that stuff that's like very customized and the layers of a house. So you've worked a lot with that.
Yeah. I can make my own clothes. I can make my own shoes. Right. I will, regardless of society being there, I will always look great because I will make my own shit and I will look great.
And it'll be original.
And it'll be original.
If you're making your own stuff.
But just think, in the Victorian times back then, everybody was wearing couture. Everybody, even peasants, because you'd make your own clothes. Everybody could sew. And you'd
now that's lost. Now it's just cheap.
I can't stand it.
Cheap, disposable.
I just can't bear it. And for me, it's not about a status, this, that, the other. Ultimately, there's one thing good in this society about wealth, right? It preserves beauty and the craftsman that can take the time because they're being paid the correct amount of money to create this beautiful thing, to keep this artistry alive. Now, it doesn't matter what people say. Oh, nothing should cost that much. Sorry. The skill to do it, if you're going to take the time to learn it, to make it yourself, then you might understand and value that process to think, you know what, if I was doing it, I'd charge that much. Who am I to... Everything is... The value of something is as much as somebody will pay for it. And that's it.
Yeah, I guess what's happened with the sort of globalization and some countries with much lower wages, that's the main difference, because the material cost is kind of what it is. You know, you might get a bit of arbitrage in between different countries, but generally that's the cost. But the labor cost, that's why it ends up being cheaper in they use low income countries or, you know, to produce that. If you try to produce that in the UK or the US or whatever, it's, you know, the iPhone would cost 10 grand or whatever.
But that's ultimately what people, then they start protesting about things. I think, well, go and buy a Bottega Veneta bag, which was the people were trained in the school in Italy. Go on then, you go and do that then. Because that is the correct cost for the amount, for the people that are getting paid their wages, for all those companies that are out there that are paying their staff decent wages, that are living great lives. They love the company, the artisanship's being preserved, but ultimately the end result of the product, it's expensive.
So that's not all just margin going to the shareholders. That's
not with
actually paying.
not with the smaller companies. I don't know, like in terms of the Bottega Venetas of the world and things like that. Obviously,
Or the Louis Vuittons.
or the Louis Vuittons, they've all
Don't
been
they
bought.
make in China and stuff?
Some of the products, some, but that's they've got second line, third line, fourth line, but the first line stuff that still has to be made by a skilled artisan. I worked with a company called Louis Locati in Milano, and they made Chanel bags. They made all the high. I think they also made for Hermes as well, because not everything's made in Paris. They do have factories which they outsource to. And these artisans were amazing. Everything, the true beautiful hand stitching, the cutting, blah, blah, blah. With these factories, if you want the more product you make, the higher the price. You know, normally it's the opposite way around.
Oh, really? Why? Because it's hard for them to
They
produce.
have to hire staff of that same capability who has that skill. So the lower the numbers, then the cheaper the lower the run, the cheaper the product. But if you want to make something of that same quality and standard, because the quality has to be consistent, people have no clue about actual real high-end manufacture. They're just seeing this whatever on China coming, oh, we make this for that. The true artisans who are making for like real high society, kings and queens and this, that, the other, okay, whatever, you might think, oh, this, that, other, but it's preserving that skill at least. And there's a reason why things cost that money. If everybody was paid what they were supposed to be paid, and everybody would accept the fact that everybody should have a really good standard of living, they wouldn't complain about.
But is the product, in terms of the practical use of it, so much better by being artisanal? Or
well, it lasts.
It lasts longer.
Of course it does.
So that's the trade-off. So
yeah.
why are you getting like more use of it by paying that higher price? Or because if it's the same use and people are like, well, I'll just pay the cheaper one.
Yeah, you don't respect it then.
Yeah.
You don't respect it. You've put it in the landfill next week, whereas you might actually hand down something to your children.
So is the idea to just be able to maintain them for generations?
Absolutely.
A pair of shoes. Right.
Bags, shoes, coats. I bought things from when I was like 18, which I've still got them. I still wear them. Yeah, and they will be, and because I respect it. Anything that I've had to work for, that I looked at something and I wanted it. I had this visceral reaction to it. It doesn't matter, you know, I will save up for it, I will work for it. When I get it, I respect it.
Sure.
Anything that you can get easily,
easy come, easy go.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
That's not my mentality.
So what would the price point be on a pair of the shoes you were making?
Well, at the time they weren't even that expensive, but people, you know what they said to me? Oh, who are you?
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you looking at me? Look at the shoe. It's not about me.
Yeah.
That's the mistake people make. But
they're so used to paying for a brand.
Name, a brand.
Because that's the thing. Like even now, you see in a lot of the branded stuff, they would just, to be honest, a lot of it. Okay, they have the high-end artisanal side, but there's a lot of like cheap fashion that's just got a stamp on it.
That's the crap.
That's like a T-shirt or something. It's like, oh, because that T-shirt has Balenciaga in a screen print, which, let's be honest, doesn't cost anything.
No.
You know, that's suddenly 800 quid or whatever. You know, that is.
No, I like real.
That hurts when I see like people paying for that because I know that's just pure margin and no skill.
No skill. Ultimately, would I say I'm a brand snob? Sometimes, but now the beautiful thing about social media is you can discover brands,
smaller brands
that
are cool.
I
think it's so much cooler anyway when you see everyone rocking the same brand, the same like major ones, and they're actually more common because everyone's can buy the same handbag. But if you find something that no one else can find, that's much cooler.
And that's what I like.
That's much more original as well.
I think I launched my collection at the wrong time. It was just before the rise of this social media thing where you still needed PR. Yeah. Which is a complete waste of money in this day and age. Yeah. Because social media is the thing. You don't need to hire a PR company to do anything. And because your product can get the exposure it needs. So I think now when I find the time to do it.
I would assume PR's moved on as well in the age of social media. I'm sure they're doing, for sure. Sure, they're probably like, okay, let's contact these influencers, let's contact whatever, this podcast guy or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like evolved.
It's evolved.
But they still do play a role.
They do, obviously they move with the times.
And they do get stuff in, newspapers and magazines. I mean, not that everyone
that was in my day. It was
Yeah,
magazines and
yeah.
stuff like that, and doing interviews with XYZ magazine and blah, blah, blah. Things have changed now. Your product can go viral just from you posting a picture of it online without any PR campaign. Same with music. You can just post a TikTok with your music and it can just, you know.
Yeah, we spoke to John Wolfe on another podcast, and he was talking about how most of the global hits come from TikTok now.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, or like more than half at least.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
But obviously, streaming it is not beneficial for the musician because they're not making hardly any money, and PRS generally gives the money to the top, whatever 1% they collect most of the PRS. So it's like, but that's I read on one Instagram post that they're going to be changing that in America. Whereas whereas they're going to be giving £1 per stream or something. Is it £1 per stream? No, not a pound, a penny.
It's probably £1 1,000 or something.
A penny per stream. So it will go from, like, for instance, 4,000 to 14,000. Right. So that's really going to change the game.
And they're going to force what Spotify.
This is how I don't know they're going to implement it. I don't know.
Because I always felt the music industry is so opaque and complex and hard for people to understand.
Exactly, it is. It is. So I mean, I know that iTunes pays more than Spotify, so I always listen on iTunes specifically for that point. Yeah, always. And they have better stuff on it anyway. And I don't have to be forced to listen to Taylor Swift every 5 minutes where they're pushing that in your face.
Is that what they do?
They do. Well, I don't. Well, every time I've used Spotify and I'm listening to something really cool, then it wants to just, if you're, you know,
if you leave it on the radio,
then it always shoves in some McDonald's music, and I'm like, oh my God, no. So, but I can, I find iTunes better. But I think ultimately, for me as a creator, as a designer, I care. And so that for me is the future of sustainability. The future of sustainability is just people making stuff with care. So they respect it, they don't want to throw it away when they get it. And they look after it. They fix it. They feel pride in it. They worked hard for it. And that's it ultimately. You appreciate it.
It's not a throwaway thing.
Not a throwaway thing. You get something for free. Yeah, okay. If somebody gave me something for free, I'd respect it because they gave it to me as a gift. You know, I'd respect that. But, you know, if you don't find value in anything, you won't respect it.
I think it's a perfect note to finish this on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was lovely chatting with you, Sam.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah.
And
I look forward to this room being used for many other podcasts, and I'm very proud that I helped you create it.
And I'm really grateful for your artisanal contribution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.